Really important conversations to be having. And I like that we are as kind of transparent and open about these, methods for compensation as most. I maybe we take a vote. Maybe we take a vote. I vote for transparency, but I understand, Pablo, that investors kind of get weird about it. Anyway, who would like to lead us this beautiful Monday morning? We have some new faces. Everyone, let's turn on our cameras if we can. We try to be maximally pro-social. Um, we'll make a couple of introductions quickly. We have two folks starting today in the summer intern program. Both are in the kind of not forward deployed engineer, like kind of sales, marketing, and delivery domain. I want to introduce Roberto Bellardi. Roberto actually comes from NYU. He spent 3 years at Ipsos. He spent some time with me at the A16Z event, which was wonderful. And and he's joining us to help with our deliverability, our marketing, our positioning, specifically in the quantitative market research space. Roberto, would you like to say a couple of words? Well, welcome to the group.
Sure. Can you hear me well? Awesome.
Oh, also, Roberto, just so you know, all of our stand-ups are live streamed to the public. Just so keep that in the back of your mind, also.
Cool. I won't say anything too controversial then. I'll keep it PC. Pleasure to meet you all. Yeah, excited to join the team, be part, of that startup with a lot of promise and growth and scalability. It's something that I want to have as my experience this summer. Loving my time at NYU, and I'm sure I'll love my time here too. Thank you, Avi, and can't wait to meet you all.
Beautiful. Roberto, we're lucky to have you. We also have Monica joining us, also from NYU.
Avi, I think you're unmuted now.
Welcome to the team, Roberto. Thank you. We also have Monica joining us, also from NYU. Monica is an ex-VC. She worked in private equity. She worked as a venture scout. She really understands the fundraising space. And she is here to help us with our grants, our accelerators, and our funding applications this summer. Monica, would you like to say a couple of words? Welcome.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I'm so happy to join the team, and I have certain experiences, like in NYU with my professor about like the grant search, something like that. So, hope I can help with subconscious AI. Yes.
Beautiful. All right, so what we are doing is we're doing stand up. We kind of walk around and everyone says what they're working on. And we also say that the objective of a stand up is to say what your blockers are. So if the engineering team is blocked by a business request, if the marketing is blocked by a financing request, if sales is blocked by a product request, like anytime there's a blocker, the objective of this meeting is to surface a blocker kind of across the entire org. And then we also just try to get to know each other a little bit. Who would like to lead us this morning?
I can lead.
Laura, we are in your capable hands.
Okay, so hi everyone. Happy Monday. Today we're having stand-up. We can go ahead and start with Avi.
This week I am doing outreach. We have a couple of partner meetings this week, which I'm excited about. We've gotten these really, really quickly. I'm doing some recruiting, but I'm going to hand off most of that recruiting to Sapod and Madi. Thank you. And then my blocker is Pablo. I would love to have like 3 or 4 4-hour or 8-hour sessions with you where we just crank through the tier A and tier B VCs in Finta and like find our mutual friends that know the principles and then get those warm intros in. Gaurav, I want to polish up this deck that we have for kind of version 2, the differentiator deck, which I think we can probably do today. If you want to have a couple of sessions, I'm happy to do that
Yeah.
as well. Um, but no, otherwise no blockers. And I'm grateful for all of our progress. I'm grateful for all of the attention that we've been getting from A16Z, from all these other folks. I'm grateful for some of our competitors are getting funding. So I found out I found out last week that Outset got $16 million. And one thing that's, well, I don't want to say this because it's streamed, but it's exciting that all of the qualitative research platforms are getting big funding. I think that sets us up nicely to be the first quantitative research group to get this kind of funding. And I believe the blocker is a couple of these 6 and 7 figure deals where people will prepay for our human recruitment in the quant research space, which I think we can deploy pretty quickly.
Thank you,
Avi,
Avi.
just one thing. Do you wanna share the funding that you've got so far? Because I think those are good news, at least I thought they were.
Yeah, we've raised. Well, I don't know if I want to do it on public. I will do it at the demo at the end. But yes, I'm happy to do that. If anybody wants to keep track of our funding, we have this product called Finta. Finta is public to anyone at Subconscious. Let me know. We'll give you access. We keep track of everyone who we've closed with, who's given us money in Finta. It's effectively like Salesforce, but for fundraising. So we can all keep track there. We know who we're meeting with, who's interested, and all of that. But yes, it's already public. I'm happy to make it more public.
Thank you, Avi. Moving on to Eric.
Hey everyone, happy Monday. So Friday, I went to a social event and sat with the CEO of Say Cosmetics, one of the fastest growing cosmetics companies. And so she's going to set up a meeting with us to sit and hear what we have to say. And then I met the CEO of an integrated marketing company that has actually brands called Sunshine Sacks. They're pretty well-known integrated marketing. They do public relations. They also are big supporters of the Democrats. And so they're looking for a tool to guide them on how to approach the midterm elections because their clients are the Democratic National Committee. So that could be an opportunity for us, which I think is great. I created a list of the top companies that have lost the most money in 2024, the ones that are depressed. Those are the people that need, I believe, our help the most. And there are some significant retailers in that list. And I was surprised. So some of this information is public and some of it is private, but nevertheless, that's my new target. I sound like a broken record. Saudi Airlines, we are now, I sent out their email on Sunday to try to get them. We're waiting for the second meeting so we can upload the 50,000 person data. It's becoming a little frustrating. My blocker is last week was a holiday in the kingdom. This week is one of the biggest advertising trade shows or award show called and
Yeah.
Lion, right? So every CMO, chief marketing officer on the planet is there. It doesn't mean that our people are not there, but because Saudi people are out last week, it's going to take them a little time to catch up. It's not our time frame. I'm in an urgent, space to get them up. So that's where I'm at. No blockers. Welcome to the new people. Looking forward to working with you and helping you any way I can. That's it.
Thank you, Eric. Moving on to Gaurav. Apologize
Yeah,
if I'm pronouncing
yeah.
your name wrong.
Actually, Laura, you said it perfectly, better than so I'm impressed. I think it's probably because of your Portuguese speaking background.
Probably.
So I did some small. I was actually out on vacation most of last week. I was in Italy, and but I did make some little bit of progress on the presentation. You know, we have some things that keep changing a bit, so I want to just wrap that up. Like the definition of causal, I feel like has changed a little bit, and Subodh's think aligns with what I was thinking. But this new thing Avi introduced about influenceable population subsets, like that's relatively new, and there are a few other things. So yeah, and I'm also leaning towards like trying to reduce the use of the word causal and actually using things like reasons and things like for in cases like in some of the simpler cases of funders can actually understand it, because causal sounds like an academic thing. And what I understand as causal is like, oh, it's the reasons behind, right? Or so I mean, I need to work out with something like this. So I think there's some nuance here. And the competitive landscape, I did an update on that. I don't, something to talk about, Avi, what other things we need to add to that. So that's where I'm at.
I also like not using the word causal because people read it as casual.
Yeah, like I noticed you changed the sentence to something I could understand now that I know what causal is, that one-liner. But I think we just make that causal levers behind this, just calls it the reasons. And then that seems clearer to me. And maybe it's so anyway, I want to get your thoughts on that later today. Yeah, so I think no blockers. And after that, once we do this pass, we need to do a little bit of an aesthetic design pass on the presentation, if we can, if Pablo has some contacts or someone has contacts.
I think your audio was a little delayed for me, but are we okay to move on?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav. Moving on now to Joaquin.
Hello, everyone. So I'm still looking at how to get more variability in the statement scores, which is quite a crucial thing to have, because it's also relevant for the task responses. So I'm really trying to see how we can improve these and see what are the limitations of the LLM. And yeah, I really feel like a conclusion on this will be quite impactful. So now I've set up experiments to like test different parameters, having pydantic or not, including demographics or just trade expression nodes, etc. A bunch of things. And I've run a few experiments, but I need to run them more widely to get a bigger sample. So I'm doing some sweeps, and it seems like in the statement scores, the not adding the demographics, but just like the trade expression, the additional nodes seems to be helping a little bit. But there seems to be like just an issue with the LLM replying with scores instead of a natural language response. So an idea I had, which I think will give us better results, I hope, let's see, is to actually ask for responses in natural language and then just convert the natural languages in the natural language responses into something we can quantify into a score. So because it seems to me intuitively now that LLMs work much better in the natural language field in terms of like the responses here. So we'll see what happens with that.
Joaquin, the work you're doing is the most, I don't want to say the most because that's a judgment, is so powerful and so critical, and it's such a core feature, and so I'm really grateful. Like most people are afraid to dig into the guts of core, and you're just like diving in, and so that's really brave, and that's really a lot of work, and that's probably frustrating. in a lot of ways too. But I'm really excited that we have someone of your caliber, kind of, taking a machete through the questions about why certain features of our experimental design work and don't. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you, Joaquin. Moving on to Monica. Welcome to the team. You can give us a little update on how your morning has been. I mean, night actually for you.
Oh yeah. And actually I've just like joined this meeting and I've talked to Lara like just before this meeting and I have know what I need to do like for a rough thing. So yes, maybe probably I need to further meet with Abby and Pablo and to know what I'm going to do for like the next step.
Thank you, Monica. Welcome to the team. Moving on to Pablo.
All right. Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Um, we have a big DMI demo right after this meeting, so in a few minutes. I am currently running 2 experiments that are DMI related around lactate milk. On the dev environment and production environment, just to see what renders. Hopeful. I will keep everyone apprised, hopefully in the next few minutes, of the success. And outside of that, help support Avi. Outside of that, help support Eric. I know that there's some deals that we're working to push through. And no real blockers. I want to be as helpful as I can also to Gaurav. I've shared some pieces of content that I found interesting that could be helpful throughout the week. I will probably continue to do that as we finalize this narrative that we have to do, especially through the lens of a pre-seed company now. So, and I know special thank you to Subodh, who's really leaning in. I read your professor article, so that was really helpful for me. And there's potentially a few artifacts that we can create from that, in terms of like level phases and stuff that I think Gaurav is already tapping into. So, really, really cool stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, Pablo. So moving on to Roberto.
Sure thing. Similar to Monica, I mean, just joined, but I'm eager to, resume the conversations had during the interviews with Avi, Pablos, both about how can I best help from the business development perspective, as well as the quant side of how to make more client-ready materials. I'm just eager to meet with you guys and go from there.
Thank you. Welcome to the team. Moving on to Subodh.
Nothing much. I'm still working on my code. It's been a nightmare working on the latent class model, really fine-tuned up and running. Hopefully by tomorrow it should get complete. Taking way long time. I'm trying to optimize and make sense of some of the answers. I'm doing it. In terms of blocker, I don't have, but it's a bit of a, on my part, I need to sit with Hardy. Hardy has done quite a bit of stuff in the front end, and then there's also a PR that he worked along with Florian on data ingestion for all the other countries. That is still pending. So hopefully I can sit tomorrow with Hardy and Marty and we can review and merge them. Yeah, so those are 2 big things on the list in next couple of days.
Is the latent class analysis that you're working on the benchmark that Joaquin is using for the subgroup variability?
Nope. So what we will have is the following. what Joaquin is doing is trying to add more variation into the response itself. But irrespective of whatever that response comes out to be, assume that we have a response, whatever it comes out to be. At that point, if we take all the data and run a latent class model to basically statistically see if we get more than one group out of the whole data.
I see. So instead of using the traits of the respondents to create the mindsets, we're going to use the latent classes to create the mindsets.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Got it.
Tatwik did quite a bit of work, but I don't know if so. Here's what happened when Tatwik worked on it. Like maybe last week. So there is an R package which lets you do the latent class estimation, and it's pretty fast. The problem I have is the following. So basically, for each class, it will estimate a logistic regression. But as far as I understood in that package, I might be wrong, I have to look more. It doesn't allow for any kind of L1 or L2 constraint into it. And the reason I'm trying to see if we can have that automatically from a package, fine. Otherwise, we'll have to do is the following. Because if we do a latent class and then we have at least an L2 constraints or L1 to be precise, actually, that will be better. Then we can literally turn a couple of attributes completely zero in terms of importance. And then we can have something like, okay, in this class, maybe out of 8 attribute tested, these 2 or 3 are the only one which drives the decision versus the class 2 where it's the other one. And this is based on the only one experiment we tested because we had very distinct feature importance ranking. And in both group out of 8, the first 4 pretty much had 95 to 96% of the variance explained. So we can, if we can put the L2 constraint into that, it will make a really nice story.
Oh, I love that. You're creating real subgroups, not like the equal 3 buckets that we have now. You're finding the real subsegments.
So that's where, yeah, I'm at. I was just going to ping Tatwik, but now I think you heard me. So see if from that package, if we can put those constraints directly, then that will make the results even more better. If not, we will, yeah, use my Python code.
Okay.
Thank you, Sabun.
One more thing I just wanted to add, Laura. So now at this point, we are working with like the discrete preference, right? Like whether you chose this or not. What we saw if you open any of the survey response file and look at the reasoning that LLM gives behind the choice and the probability, anytime if it sees variables like price or anything which has monetary unit attached to it as a missing variable, it literally just says this has a lot of unavailable information and hence a risky, so I'm not going to choose. And in terms of probability, it literally provides probability set to 0. So once we actually start working in the probability as a dependent variable in place of the discrete, and then actually not available become one of the variable, and we put that in terms of like a ln or something, we can put constraint to literally drive probability from something to 0 very quickly. And then that will also capture beyond all the variation, what is the impact of uncertainty on the choice itself. So the more the uncertainty in terms of number of attributes being missing, the more quickly you should see the probability of that going from something to 0. And once we start working in probability space, we'll be able to see this phenomena as well into the latent class and overall analysis. And that will really put a nice ribbon around the whole thing. So you are able to see all kind of nitty-gritties happening in the data as a part of the analysis.
Thank you,
That's it, Laura.
Moving on to Tatvik.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. So, I have been pushing to Rehoboam mostly. I have still some issues with real life products, so I'm trying to tackle them on my side. Previously, it was the price, but now brand as well. For example, if it says, I don't know, Apple, when I have the attributes in the real life product, it will have like Apple Corporation or like have a longer name. So I'm trying to do a match there because I can't have a brand as a not available because it goes to my title. So one thing in the market share, I have to make sure like those titles are unique. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing since Friday.
Thank you, Tatvik. Moving on to Atish. I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong, but
No,
Atish. Yeah.
you got. That's pretty good. Sorry. Just creating indexes on all the population tables. Yeah, and I'll then test all the countries for speed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that population creation step in the experiment design really takes a long time. I don't know. I don't know if it's the pulling from the PUMS database or doing the. Oh, this better be a good update. Ah, yay! I don't know if the I don't know why the steps take so long, but I would love in the next sprint. I think we're designing the next sprint later today. I would love if the next sprint we spent a little bit of time focusing on the speed of the design. Right now, it takes longer to design the experiment than to run the experiment. I don't know if there's any like hacks we can do there, but I'd love us to focus on that because it's really
Okay.
good. We can't really do live demos anymore because most of our meetings are 30-minute meetings and designing the experiment takes 15 minutes. You know.
Okay, we'll look into it.
I mean, I think we have to go like a Listen Labs way. So type the question and everything else is kind of generated.
Yeah.
And we just make these things like an optional to people. If they want to change, so then they will change and validation or anything will happen. Otherwise, these are the numbers and we just run with it. That's the best I guess we could do.
And that kind of becomes our like recursive feature as well. Because now when we have recursive ideas for experiments at the end of an experiment, we can just run that loop much faster. Yeah. And that solves our I'm feeling lucky button problem as well. It solves a bunch of problems. Yeah. Good thinking, Subodh.
Thank you. Moving on to Hadi.
Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome, Velarde and Monica, the team. So this week I will be working for improving the performance of the website and also with Subot for concept testing. It's like a blocker also for me that I think needs some work in the backend. I will sit with Subot and with also like what other things that Subot said will said. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Hadi. Moving on to
Wait,
Mari,
wait,
please.
hold on. Hadi, could you, if possible, would you be able to spend some time prioritizing getting the work that Simon did for the chat agent into a UI?
Oh, that's already in the last week.
Oh my God, you're so good. You're so good.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can we do a demo? Could we demo it today?
Uh, Yeah, the stand-up or right now.
After stand up, yeah. Sweet.
Uh,
Nice work on it.
Uh,
but just Pablo, does it work in Dev, the chat interface that Hardy just mentioned?
The chat interface.
Yeah, so if you go at the end of experiment, because you just ran one, do you see anything like chat or something?
Stand by. Investigating. AI chat. Is it like a tab?
I think so. Let me open. I'm not
yes,
sure,
that
but
one.
yep.
Yeah, chat.
Wow. It seems to be working.
Okay. Then Pablo will do the demo.
I can go at the end and give a demo. But I only have literally 15 minutes left. We have a very important real demo in front of DMI ahead of time. So if this meeting continues, then I have to leave.
Let's demo the chat for DMI. That's a super risky idea.
I will test it out first.
You can tell me that's a terrible idea.
If it works, let me play around with it for the next 10 minutes.
Thank you. Moving on to Madi, please.
Hello team. So there was some issue with production experiments. Some of the experiments were failing. Thought we fixed that. Now it's in production. Then continuing working with Raj from Duplo Cloud. There was two issues that we fixed today. One was the celery issue from the back end, and another was the authentication issue from the front end, which we fixed. And continuing, there are still more issues, continuing working to fixing the issues. But overall, our, for example, dev instance is in Duplo Cloud. Now the backend has an issue, which is the R shiny is missing some packages. Need to add those. The front end is some secret needs to be updated, so we're working on that, rebuild the image and all those things. Yeah, continuing working on the with Duplo engineer.
Madi, nice work. Do we have an ETA on getting moved over to AWS? Because maybe once we cut dev to AWS, we can just cut prod to AWS. We'll be all over on AWS, and then for the next year, we'll have stable infrastructure, free credits. We won't have to worry about it. Assuming AWS is more stable than GCP, which went down last week.
So overall, our dev is in AWS. Just need to resolve this missing package issue with the secrets. And then our dev would be in AWS. Then we can replicate test and prod also. So the ETA, today dev would be in AWS, but I'm not sure how long test and prod will take.
Okay. Amazing. And then did we ever get those the 250K from Databricks and then move over to the Anthropic credits from Databricks? Or that's a separate exercise?
We have a meeting tomorrow for the Databricks.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice work, Marty.
Thank you, Madi. Moving on to Michelle, please.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Sorry I can't be on video. I've got some video problems, and I think Mia's having internet problems, so she can't come this morning. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I am working today on my case study. Well, it's our case study, working on it with Mia. So she's going to send that over so we can kind of get that wrapped up and published. that'll be exciting because that can be used as part of our sales enablement, whenever we're trying to follow up with people and get things to move along a little bit faster. I'm also working on just focusing on revenue generation and, as a part of that, thinking through marketing strategies. And then I'm also working on sales. I need to follow up with some leads this week and explore how to incorporate Subconscious with a current client. It kind of dawned on me like last night in the middle of the night that there's a certain client that has a problem where they have customers that are really been there a long time, so they don't really have a fresh perspective as far as like translating the research into how it would impact new customers. And so there's also some sensitive situations where it might cause problems for us to reach out to them. So I would like to explore and dig in a little bit deeper with some of you about, just what our capabilities are at Subconscious to be able to meet that need, potentially doing some outreach, qualitative outreach potentially, along with some quantitative research to try to, solve that problem for this particular client. So love to collaborate with a few of you on that. And that's all that I've got for today.
Thank you, Michelle. Now for my updates, I've been working on getting all those LinkedIn posts ready. I think it's also important to mention that I made a mistake because I didn't know that I had to like actually go ahead and post them instead of only making them. I thought that wasn't my responsibility, but I got that cleared up this morning with Avi. So I think it's also good to mention the things that we did wrong as well. But I should get all of them scheduled to go out like every single day for the next 2 weeks. And as for blockers, I need a list of all the companies and people we're looking to tag on LinkedIn to improve our outreach and following. Yeah. And that's all for me. I think we can move on to demos.
Yeah, I'd like to. I've been playing around with the chat, and it is actually pretty remarkable. It's answering all the questions. I'm trying to like challenge it a little bit more. It actually provides more data than our current platform in terms of like, I'm asking like, what's the demographics of the respondents per se? That's more of like a back-end data thing that we don't show under the Insights tab. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, let me share in the next few minutes. Pretty cool. So when you click on experiments, there's a tab. I'm not sure how to, if I go back to experiments and I click on the tab, is this thread gonna be saved or is it gonna start anew?
It will start anew.
It'll start new. Okay.
Well,
Well, when you click, yeah.
Yeah.
When you click on, it's
Opening
one of
in a
the.
new tab.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. There we go. I see it does open. So yeah, you go here, feature level importance, and I found it here under the AI chat. You open this, it opens a new tab. The reason why I'm not gonna exit out of this one is because it did take a few minutes. In like when this populates, it says, please analyze this experiment, provide key insights. And this took probably like 3 to 4 minutes to populate, which is pretty cool. It kind of gives you like a whole summary of things. And then what I did was actually challenge it pretty harshly and kind of say, what are the demographics of the respondents in the experiment? Be succinct. I think it did a pretty good job. I'm pretty sure I could ask further, like what's the percentages of, people or the distribution of age for, with percentages for age, gender, household income, etc. But it was really cool to see. And then I asked it questions like, provide me with additional language that would resonate with a particular demographic of respondents as well as a particular mindset, and it did a pretty good job for both, and provided a lot of really good context behind it, similar to what I would see in ChatGPT. And then I love the what to do next as well. These are really good prompts as to like how to continue to have a conversation or see what else you can test thereafter. So very impressive. Is there a question you guys like for me to ask this?
What's the most surprising result?
Okay. We're seeing this live. Adi, to your credit, the chat experience does look quite beautiful. Very on brand with our design ethos. There we go, really quick.
Wow.
Consumers are willing to pay more than double for over 81% lactose-free content and penalize anything else. Oh, that's interesting. So a pro and a con. The willingness to pay and perceive value, the largest across all attributes. Why is this surprising? Lactose-free is more valuable than price itself. Yes, and by the way, I saw this in the rankings as well. So this is actually sober.
Well,
Negative willingness is unusual.
The question is it true? We will find out.
How can we find out other than in the real life?
Well, that's why we need the real humans. My guess is that, speaking to Subod's work, there's going to be a small sub segment where lactose free is super valuable. There will be a small sub segment of people that are influenceable to lactose materials. Like they say in marketing, only 5% of people that receive marketing are influenceable. But once we get those additional tabs in, we can put those additional tabs in the analysis, and it should automatically go into the chat, more or less.
Good job, Pablo. Good job, Demi.
Awesome. All right, guys, I have 2 minutes. I apologize for leaving early. I want to get ready for this DMI meeting. Subod, Avi, I look forward to seeing you there. It'll be a home run. It's a demo. We're good at this.
Nice demo, Pablo. Yeah,
sure.
It
We'll
looks
Talk by
really
Youngboy
good.
Never Broke Again from Apple Music.
Oh,
Computer off.
what?
Sorry, that was my robot.
Oh. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Do you have any more demos?
I mean, I could do a quick demo of the